Welcome to part 8 of this 10-part series about Icelandic pools, lagoons, spas, hot springs, geothermal experiences, the kind aimed at tourists. And today we are at the Sky Lagoon, whose unique selling point is that it's just 10 minutes, 15 minutes, can't remember what they say, from downtown Reykjavik. It's not actually in Reykjavik, it's on the next headland across at Kosovo, but if I measured it last time I came home, it took something like 8 minutes from the Sky Lagoon to Helgunkirk, so it is indeed quite close. Now this one is for me quite contentious. I've got a couple of points to make about this one. The first is that this is the only one that isn't owned by an Icelandic company. Most of the others I think are literally owned by the person who found they had some hot water they wanted to profit off. This one is owned by Pursuit Entertainment, which is kind of a filmmaking company. It owns Fly Over Iceland, which is a sort of film thing in Reykjavik where you sit in almost a roller coaster seat and you get hoisted up, and then it's a dome-shaped screen and you get flown through these amazing views, and the chair moves you, and there's water and there's wind and it's magnificent. There's also a Fly Over Canada, a Fly Over Las Vegas. There's probably another one that I'm missing. I think it does cruises as well. It's kind of a international multimedia entertainment business, and it owns the Sky Lagoon, so it has a certain amount of international shine and pizzazz and high-endness that the others don't quite reach. So that for a start feels a little bit odd, because everything else, all of the others are just so Icelandic. They are the product of their country, they're the product of their culture. This one is a bit of an interloper, but it is very close to the capital. It is the one that I suspect is soaking up the overflow from the Blue Lagoon at the moment. But on the other hand, when I was there last, it was selling out and you couldn't get in there, so I don't think it's got a lot of capacity to take on these extra people. So yeah, shall we have a look at how good it actually is and come up to my second point about this one? First of all, is it accessible by public transport? And you're going to be surprised by this. Yes, it is. First time I went there was by public bus. Now it does involve a change. You take the bus from downtown Reykjavik to Kosovo and then you swap onto, there are two buses that go along the headland. One goes one way, one goes the other way. So you get on that one to go down and you get on that one to come back. But you can do a 20-minute loop around town if you just want to get back on. It depends on which one is available. And it is then a sort of 5 or 10 minute walk through an industrial estate. But it can be done. In fact, the first time I did it, I didn't get on the second bus. I walked I think it was 23 minutes along Kosovo down through the industrial estate. But if you don't fancy an actual public bus, Reykjavik Excursions runs a shuttle bus. There are also tours. All the companies do tours, but if you use the shuttle bus, then you can decide for yourself which one you're getting back, so you are not on their schedule as much. So yeah, we do give that one. First one, I think, to score a point for being on public transport. And does it have private showers? Yes, it does. They're kind of like, it's kind of like walking into a stable. You've got showers on both sides and the doors that cover you from like neck to knee, but they are private. You can have your proper washing the naked bits that you need to wash in private, so point for that as well. Next is facilities. Now I have thoughts and feelings on this. Is it swimmable? Yes it is. It's a lagoon. Like I said with the earlier ones, you're not going to be swimming lengths in it, but you can swim, so that's nice. And then we get on to the other things. So it doesn't have a hot pot because, you know, it's like the Blue Lagoon. It's just a big pool, doesn't really need a hot pot. It'd be nice to have one, but you know, whatever. It does have a sauna and a steam room, but they are part of the 7-step ritual, which they advertise highly. They make a big deal out of. At least 2 of the steps are not steps. They make you pay for this, and you can only do it once. So you have a sauna, you can only go in it once if you paid for it. You have a steam room, you can only go it once if you paid for it. Yeah, you would get a sauna and a steam room and a hot pot, or yeah, any combination of those 3 at your cheapest, most basic local swimming pool in Iceland. I don't want to say flabbergasts me, but it flabbergasts me that you have to pay for this at this place. This is what I mean by it. This is un-Icelandic. It is what it is. They try to sell the 7-step ritual as this really relaxing and calming and wonderful thing, this premium experience, and it's a con. Quite frankly, I think this is absurd. To get back on track, yes, it does have a waterfall, great big thing, wonderful. That one is free. And extras, again, part of the ritual. It has its own proprietary body scrub, which turns out it's not very exciting ingredients. I tried to recreate it at home without knowing what was in it, so I took a guess. I took some advice from the internet. The internet was completely wrong. My version was nicer. And it also has a cold water mist room, very pleasant, but again, part of the ritual. You have to pay for it, can only do it once. So I'm only giving half a point for the sauna and the steam room, which comes to 3.5 points. Half a point for the scrub and the mist because it is an extra, but it's paid extra, so half a point again. Comes to 3.5 altogether. Maths. Next up, your in-water experience. So does it have in-water drinks? Yes, it does. You just swim up. It's got its own sort of private cove, as it were, and you pay with your wristband, and there you go, you have your drink. It has free towels. They don't give them to you as you go in. They've got a rack of them when you come out of the water, and you just grab as many as you like. So you have the changing rooms, you have the showers, and then you walk into a kind of cave, and then there's just steps down into the water. So no robes, because you just don't need them for, it's literally this far from the showers to the start of the water. No point in having a robe whatsoever. But the towels are free, so you get 2 points for towels. And the view, now it's on the end of the headland. Again, it's facing west, so you get the sunset, but you also get to look out over the fjord, over the islands, over, I can't remember what particular important building it is, whether it's the Prime Minister's house or the President's house or their office, but there is an important government building right there. You can just about make out Reykjavik in the distance over on the right. It's a good view. It's a 3 out of 3 view, I think. Also, if you go in the sauna, which you have to pay for and can only go in once, it's got what they claim to be Iceland's biggest glass window. Floor to ceiling window, doesn't steam up, views out over the harbour. I watched some ducks from it. If you're lucky, you might get to see something more exotic. You certainly get to see boats going past. Nice view from the sauna, nice view from the lagoon. So that comes to 6 points altogether for the in-water experience. What about polar bear points, vibes? What do I think of it? I score this out of 3, and I'm giving this one a 2. It's a slightly reluctant 2. I really liked it the first time I went there. It does feel luxurious, it does feel high-end, it does feel spa. It's really nice, but I do not like the fact you have to pay for things that you would get free at your local pool. I do not like the fact that you can only go in there once. But mostly what knocked it down, so 2 out of 3, is that I went there in February. It was a Monday, I think. It was evening, it was cold, it was dark, it was miserable. And this pool was so busy you could hardly move. I did have the ritual in that case, and you couldn't get in the steam room. You could shuffle in and sort of stand side by side like this and then go, "This is not good," and then leave immediately. It's busy. If it had been like it was the first time I went, when it was April 2022, relatively quiet, daytime, I'd have scored it 3 out of 3 then, but it's not fun when it's busy. It's not built for that many people. And also the ritual. So because it is nice, I'm going to give it 2 out of 3. What about the price? How much are we paying for all this? So there are 3 levels of entry. There's the Pure Light, which is the one that I'm going to go for. There is the Pure, which includes the 7-step ritual. Pure Light does not include the ritual, Pure does. And then there's Comfort, where the ritual is included and you get your own private changing rooms. All changing rooms in Iceland are just sort of open. You're supposed to get changed in there, having got dried first in the shower area. You're not supposed to drip in the changing rooms. But that's beside the point. So we're going for the Pure Light, which is 7,900 krona, which translates as about £47. £47, not including the showers, not including the sauna and steam room, mist, scrub, etc, etc. I think I worked out that it comes to £17 extra for the Pure Pass, which, what's 47 plus 17? 64? Yeah, let's go 64. So £64 if you want to go in the sauna and the steam room once. You seeing my problem with this place? It's really nice, but it's expensive and it's ripping you off, quite frankly. On the subject of price, what does that do to the points? So we are taking off 3 points for the price, because this is one of the more expensive. It's not as bad as the Blue Lagoon, which, remember from several weeks ago now, was £87. It's only £47, but it's still a lot of money. And so, yeah, taking 3 points off for that one. So what have we got in total? Public transport, 1. Showers, 1. Facilities, reluctant, 3.5. In-water experience, 6. Polar bear points, 2. Minus 3 points for the price, comes to 10.5 points altogether. How does that compare to the ones that have gone before? So it's just a little bit above Cloma, GSC and Vuk, which all scored 10 points over the last 3 weeks. It's also beating the Blue Lagoon on 9.5 points, and it's beating the Secret Lagoon on 8.5 points. It's still being beaten by Beamont Nature Baths on 12.5 points, and it's still being beaten by Fontana, still sitting on the top on 17.5 points. We've still got 2 weeks, so there's still everything to play for. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens over the next 2 weeks. What changes? How do I feel about how this one scores, about where it's sitting? I am not surprised that it's above Cloma, GSC and Vuk, which I think are the 3 that are possibly my least favourites. If I was to put them in order, they would definitely be in the bottom half. Am I surprised it's higher than the Blue Lagoon? No, I don't think I'm surprised it's higher than the Blue Lagoon. It manages to feel more luxurious than the Blue Lagoon, which is famously the most luxurious and wonderful pool in Iceland. But yeah, I think Sky Lagoon is slightly nicer. I think if it wasn't so busy, I think if it was a bit bigger, and it's so much more easy to get to. I think I said at the time, when I'm in Iceland in the future, I'm going to go to the Sky Lagoon instead of the Blue Lagoon. But you do need to book it. I mean, you need to book everything in advance, but Blue Lagoon you need to book several months in advance, preferably at least several weeks. You're not going to get it the week of your trip. Make sure you book that in advance. But the Sky Lagoon is much the same as well. But yeah, so Sky Lagoon 10.5 points. I have my issues with it. But yeah, we've still got 2 more to go. So next week back up north again, going to the Forest Lagoon. So thank you for watching this, and I'll see you next week.